Welcome to GPPmaster.com Elite and Value Week 4. Let's get right into it. We're going to try to get this all done in under 15 minutes, which is going to be challenging this week. So let's start with a quick recap of Week 3. It was awesome. Bottom line, if you watched this video, you had to do well. A couple notes. We had a third place Millionaire Maker winner, $100,000 on DraftKings as a GPP member, and that person was in first place with 7 minutes left in the game, and only Chris Thompson's 74-yard run bumped him in the third, which was a tough break, but hey, still won $100,000 playing daily fantasy. Myself, in this video, I had a great week. If you follow me, by the way, I am BIODTL on DraftKings, BIODTL. I've been meaning to share that. I had 3 lineups inside the top 1,000 on Millionaire Maker, including 149th finish, which was at 17th at one point late in the early in the 4 o'clock games, late in the afternoon on Sunday. Finished 149th, right in the hunt all day for the million. I had a 548, a 917, and a 1,059th place out of 222,000, and I cashed on 20 of my 25 lineups. So if you watched this video last week, we did well. Last week's theme, Week 3, was diversity of quarterbacks. Week 2, we only went with a few top guys. Week 3, I said you're going to have to play a lot of quarterbacks. I played 18 different quarterbacks in the Millionaire Maker this past weekend. The 2 most successful were Case Keenum with Diggs and Jacoby Brissett with T.Y. Hilton. You know I love T.Y. Hilton in this video last week. We are moving on to Kirk Cousins. Last week was phenomenal. We had him. Brady and Cooks obviously was a home run. Ben and Antonio. On the running back side, I warned about Jay Ajayi being the chalk and being injured, and that was exactly what happened. He was a big overplay last week. We stuck with Kareem Hunt and Cook, both with 27 on Cook and 30 points on Hunt, so that was a big win here for us. I also said take a flyer with Baal Powell last week, and he didn't have a great week, not enough to win a GPP all the way through, but he did get a touchdown finally. A wide receiver, we were big on T.Y. Hilton. I said I put him in a lot of your lineups, and we were big on Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson obviously finally broke out. T.Y. had a monster week with Brissett against Cleveland. And a tight end, I had said 3 guys. Jared Cook, 14 points, really solid for a tight end, great week. He was a no-brainer. Cameron Brate right there at 13, same thing. And we talked about as a wild card, sleeper in Njoku, who had 9 points and a touchdown. Defense was our only weak link. It's probably kept me from finishing in the top 20 Millionaire Maker. I had the Steelers across the board pretty much aggressively or everywhere, and they had a tough week with only 6 points. Week 4, we're talking about the $20 Millionaire Maker on DraftKings. And note, there is no Thursday night game in that contest, as always. There is no Sunday 9:30 London game in that contest, as always. There is no Monday Night Football in that contest, but now they have eliminated DraftKings the Sunday Night Hammer from this Millionaire Maker this week as a test. So you're only talking about the 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock games for this contest. So that's what I'm focusing on here. We're going to try to go fast through this because we got a lot to cover. So this is another week of a couple core quarterbacks I love, but I'm going to have diversity of quarterbacks. Not 18, more like 7, 8, 9, 10 this week. Varying lineups. So Tom Brady will be in all my Millionaire Maker contests for 2 or 3 lineups, probably even 4 lineups this week. We'll come back to that at $8,000 until he proves otherwise. He is on fire. Carolina is 22nd versus wide receiver 1, the number 1 over-under in that game, and the Patriots have the highest projected individual team total for that game. Brady's just hot right now, and just is what it is. I think Carolina's defense is overrated. It's at home. It's going to be a nice day. No weather issues. I love Carson Palmer this week. He started to throw the ball and looked great in the night game this weekend. He's $6,100. That's almost a $2,000 savings off of Brady. It's also a good total, 25.8 expected points for Arizona. San Francisco 23rd against the pass, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. I will be using Carson Palmer in at least 3 lineups. Going back to my Week 2 winning pick with Trevor Siemian, $5,200, and going back to that well, Oakland's 22nd against the pass. Denver lost in Buffalo, big game, and I expect a good week from Siemian in the air. Jameis Winston at 50. That'll be one lineup or maybe two for Simeon. Jameis Winston, 5,900. I like the matchup. We'll probably use him one time in that game, one time in the Millionaire Maker. Andy Dalton is going to be a popular play this week at whatever he's at, 5,800. 25th pass defense. AJ Green and him were hot last week. Mixon starting to catch the ball out of the backfield. And, they have obviously an easy matchup, which is why everybody will gravitate to him. He's still Andy Dalton. One lineup with AJ Green. That's it. If you want to put Mixon and Green in there, go for it. One lineup with AJ Green. Not worth the exposure. So I watched Deshaun Watson shred the Patriots. And not only did I watch him shred the Patriots, he was good. He made some plays that reminded me of Russell Wilson in his prime first couple of years. He made plays that reminded me of John Elway, where he rolled left and threw cross field 45 yards the opposite direction. He ran. So far, he's outscored Ryan, Rivers, Big Ben, and others on the season. Tennessee is 21st against the pass and 21st against the run. So I expect Watson to throw and run in that game, and I will have exposure to him, no question. Matthew Stafford at 6,000 against the Vikings. Everyone thinks the Vikings' pass defense is great because of Rhodes. It's actually 28th. You want to stay away from, obviously, Golden Tate, I assume, is who Rhodes will be covering. Keep an eye on that. Come back on Sunday morning and check that before you lock your lineups with us at GPP Master. But I'll be looking to Stafford in one lineup. Blake Bortles, this is my Jacoby Brissett, Case Keenum pick of last week. We know Blake Bortles sucks. He's not what he showed in London. But the Jets are terrible, 29th against the pass, and you can save a lot of money at 5,300. And if he connects with Hearns or Lee for a couple touchdowns, you can win a GPP like Keenum and Brissett last week. I also will have a little bit of exposure to Matt Ryan all season long. He'll have a breakout game, even if Julio's hurt. That tempers it a little bit, though. And Phillip Rivers, both probably in one lineup. So moving on quickly because we're trying to go to running backs. Bottom line, I love Fournette at $6,700 this week. 27th against the run. He's getting the ball a lot. They're relying on him. He's getting the ball inside the 5. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's explosive, and we'll be riding him heavily. I do not think he will be chalk because there's so many good running backs this week, especially guys like Zeke and Bell and Gurley. So I will be having heavy Leonard Fournette usage. I like C.J. Anderson. Think he's underrated and underpriced at $5,600, so we'll have some exposure to him against what is not a great run defense for the Raiders. Shady McCoy is the number 2 running back, price-wise at $8,400, so he's expensive, but he's the offense for Buffalo. And Atlanta, as we know, got shredded by Cook last weekend and continues to get shredded by pass-receiving running backs. So I'll have some exposure to McCoy. I think the 2 chalk running backs, or maybe 3 this week, are going to be Gurley, Bell, and Zeke. It's tough to fade Gurley at $7,800 against, what is a really Dallas run defense that is really struggling in 23rd against the run. But, I also think Dallas defense is underrated. We'll come back to that. So you got to be careful with Gurley because he'll be highly owned, but I think you need a little bit of exposure to him in the right places. Same with Bell. He's cheaper than he ever will be at $8,700. He started to come on a little bit last week. Tough game. That Baltimore matchup, I don't think Baltimore's defense is as good as they looked. The first couple of weeks are not as bad as they looked against Jacksonville. Light exposure to Bell, and same with Zeke, although I do expect Zeke to outshine Gurley in that game and maybe able to pick up Zeke at a lower ownership because of Gurley. I like Cook at $6,500 because he's getting a ton of volume as well. The only thing there, that is not a great matchup against Detroit in the run. So just something to keep an eye on. That is not a great running matchup against that Detroit front 4 or frontline defense. Similar to Mixon, everybody's going to love Mixon. Mixon will be a popular play, not chalk, but up there this week at $5,700. He's getting more touches. He's really good, like Fournette. It's Hunt, Mixon, Cook, and Fournette are 4 just phenomenal rookies this year. It's just a tough matchup, that, believe it or not, against the run in that game for them, and I think they're going to throw the ball. One to keep an eye on here, very closely. If Melvin Gordon is ruled out in the Chargers game, I will have a heavy exposure to Brandon Oliver, $4,400. He played 1.25 quarters last week, and he had 4 receptions. That's 4 PPR points on DraftKings and 8 carries. He is going to get the ball. He will catch the ball out of the backfield, and he is dirt cheap and will be very low owned. And then I like, you could take a shot with Smallwood with Darren Sproles out, but I'd rather go with Oliver because Smallwood's a big unknown with a much lower floor than Oliver. Smallwood could walk out of that game with 4 points or 30 points. 4 is a GPP killer. And Carlos Hyde at 6,600, a little bit of exposure like that there.